Chynna, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So, recently it was your birthday. How was it?
It was really good. It was like several days of celebrating because first we had post-comp celebrations and then we had my birthday celebration. So it all kind of just ran together into one big fiesta. But it was good. It was really good.
And then this month it was your sister's birthday as well?
I have two stepsisters who share a birthday month with me. So it's the 6th, the 7th, and then the 11th. And then I have my brother who's the 26th. So December's a busy year for my family, or a busy month for my family.
Last show you did was in the NPC. So what was it like posing in the overall?
It was like super quick. It was really just comparisons, and it was my first NPC show, so I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to go. And it was like really late too. We didn't get on stage for the overall until like 10:30, 11, and I was tired. But yeah, it went by really quick, and they just basically had us do our front pose, our back pose like 10 times. And then they were like, okay, overall is Destiny. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we just like walked off, and that was it. So it was different. It was cool.
What was it like being in that first call out in your class?
It was exciting. Like I said, it was my first show, so I wasn't exactly sure how everything really played out. So whenever I got off stage, I asked my coach, I'm like, okay, so what's up? Like, what does that mean? And he's like, oh, we're going to finals. Like, you're going to be really careful whenever you eat your meal right now, because we don't want to come back bloated, because they're going to be judging you again. He's like, this is it. You did good. I'm like, oh, great. That's awesome. So yeah, it was cool. It was awesome.
What was it like being on prep for 5 months?
It was, okay, so I'll say this. It was my first NPC show, but my second bodybuilding show overall. So my first one, I only did like a 12-week prep, and it was harder that time than this time, because what we did was we started out with quite a bit of food, and we just slowly dwindled down and then slowly increased cardio. So throughout prep, the 5 months, it wasn't really that bad. I was never like super hungry, or I didn't have as many as the prep feels, as they say, as the first one. And also I knew what to expect too with prep and everything. So it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Funny thing is, my prep was only supposed to last like 14 weeks, but the show that I was planning for got canceled, so I pushed prep, extended it a little longer. It ended up being almost 20 weeks of dieting. It was 18, I believe. And I'll tell you one thing, like when I found out my first show was canceled, I just wanted to quit right there, but I was like, no, I've got to keep going. I worked so hard for this long, like a couple more weeks isn't going to kill me. It almost did, but I survived, obviously.
When you first started lifting for your first time ever, what was that? How did you keep on going?
So, I don't know, so I started lifting like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I followed people on Instagram and kind of just followed their workouts. Katie Hearn was one of the first people that I had followed on Instagram, and kind of tried to like copy her and look at her little videos and stuff like that. So I was like slowly adjusting to gym life, because I was a ballerina for 16 years, and I'd always had really strong legs, but never any kind of upper body. Like, I could barely curl 10 pounds. Like, it was quite hilarious. And I just kept going because I really enjoyed it. I really ended up liking it. And then I started working at Twin Peaks 2015. And I kind of just halted my gym life from there, because it was like late nights, all day shifts, and so I just kind of fell out of the gym. And it was funny because I hadn't always been petite, always. And obviously, whenever you're used to working out and like eating semi-decent, I guess, okay, diet was never really a thing for me, but lifting was. And you just kind of stop all that, you start putting on weight. And I had noticed that I had gained weight, but I didn't ever think that anybody else really saw that until one day my bosses sat me down and had like the fat talk with me. And they were like, okay, look, we want to put you behind the bar, but you need to lose some weight. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And I had never heard that before. And so that made me get back on my game and get back in the gym. And I actually had a friend who did WBFF a year prior, and she had been trying to convince me to compete. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool and all. Like, I really want to do it, but I don't know if I have the discipline. I don't know if I can. And so once they had that fat talk with me, I called her up. I'm like, Steph, I need you to coach me. I'm doing a show. Like, and that probably wasn't the best idea to like jump from not knowing anything about competing to just jumping into a prep. But I mean, it ended up working out, so yeah.
You were talking about your upper body just now. A popular phrase is boulders for shoulders. Were you happy with your shoulders this year?
Yes, shoulders is one of like my favorite body parts to work out. And you know, before I ever started lifting, before I ever started like really knowing how to work out or anything, I didn't want to get bulky. I didn't want to be manly, so I never wanted to work out my upper body. And you know, I had been a ballerina, and so my arms were really frail, but I always had like the tree trunk legs, and I was a quadzilla forever. So whenever I started lifting and competing, and I noticed my shoulders develop and my lats develop and my back, it just excited me. And now I love working out upper body. I just want to like improve it even more and more. Rear delts are my favorite.
What about this operation growing the glutes? How's it going?
Okay, so I just started learning how to like activate the glutes, honestly, like not even a year ago, not even 6 months ago, probably. And so once that happened and I learned how to properly activate them before you work out and using bands and all kinds of stuff, like my glute growth has like really, really improved. I had no glutes my first show, first of all, but then like even in high school before that, like I just thought glutes were not gonna happen for me. And but as soon as I started figuring out how to activate them and how to properly do that mind-muscle connection and do things other than squats to really work the glutes, that's whenever I started noticing changes. And it's going pretty well, I'd say. I like it. And plus all this extra food I'm getting now is helping a lot too.
So you're still using the resistance bands?
Yeah, I use the X bands. I got them at Europa last year. I usually just use them to activate. I'll do a few circuits like standing squats with a band. I'll do kickbacks with a band, glute bridges with the band, and then like walking adductors, crab walks, just different things that incorporate bands that will help activate the glutes. And then I'll superset a lot of my heavy lifts with just band work. So I'll just do like jump squats in between like heavy lunges or something. So love the bands. Bands are life.
You mentioned the mind, the brain a couple of times. How does someone have a good fitness mindset?
How? I don't know, you just do. No, you just really have to learn. So I try to separate myself from like the norm of people. So many people, will do the gym, but they won't follow a strict diet, or they'll drink every day. Like girls will be like, yeah, I'm going to the gym and get on the Stairmaster, and then later go out and like take tons of shots and just totally undo everything. So you kind of have to separate yourself from like the norm and what people are continuously doing around you. Especially me, I work at Twin Peaks at a bar, and I bring my meal preps every day while girls are sitting here eating like cheeseburgers and stuff, and I'm just like, dang, I'm here eating a salad, you're eating this cheeseburger, it looks so great, but I have goals and I have things that I want to do, and I want to look a certain way and feel a certain way. So you just really have to think about like long term as opposed to what's going on in that moment. Like, yeah, that cheeseburger might taste really good, but you're going to feel like crap 2 hours later, you know, or even the next day. So you just really have to learn how to like separate yourself from the pack, I guess.
That's cool. Tell us about your experience as the ballerina. That's interesting.
So I started ballet when I was 2. My parents put me in ballet, and I did the whole tap dancing thing and ballet, and I was in Nutcracker. I was a little mouse. And I danced until my senior year of high school. I danced pretty much professionally until I was 16. And then whenever I was 16, I just decided, okay, ballet probably isn't going to happen for me because I'm really short and I was a little bit like, not stocky, but like not the tall, slender ballerina look. And also, my parents had divorced, so every summer I would have to go spend like a month with my dad, and he lived in a different state at the time. And then I would come back and have to do summer intensive training, which was 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, just straight dancing constantly. And I was 16, I wanted to have a summer, so I quit my professional training and just decided to just dance kind of recreationally for fun. And then I moved high schools, and they had a dance program, so I got into that, and that was really cool. I did a whole senior, like a senior solo on point, and I just, it was to like this techno song, I don't know, so it was, I did my own spin on it. It was really cool, but yeah, like I loved it. I still dance around my house all the time, just twirling around and stuff, and I still have a real passion for like watching ballet. A lot of my like Instagram feed is just videos of ballerinas. It's really cool, but it was just a part of my life that I think developed me as an athlete as well, because it taught me discipline, and it taught me just, I don't know, like trying to find my niche in certain aspects. So yeah, dance was life for a while.
That's cool. Good for you. Thanks. We were talking a little bit off camera about what's next for you and competing for next year. Can you give us a preview?
So I'm planning on having my first show in May for the Kuklo Classic. That is such a tongue twister. So I am 23 weeks out from that right now, I think. I did the math yesterday, and I like wrote it on my calendar. And then after that, 4 weeks later is going to be Europa. So I want to do like a smaller show and then Europa. And then after that, either Branch, Warren, which is 2 weeks after Europa, and then WBFF Dallas, July 21st. Now, if I knock out one of those shows, then I might do nationals either in Pittsburgh or Miami, because I want to give myself that challenge. But if not nationals this year, then definitely 2019. That
will be an active year.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be an active year, but this is my passion. Like, this is what I like to do. And it was kind of funny because whenever I got off prep, I was like, okay, now I can be normal. And now I can like go out with my friends and just eat whatever I want. And I did that for like 2 weeks, and then I started feeling like crap. And I texted my coach, I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to be following this strict reverse diet, but I can't. Like, I just want to be normal. And he was like, dude, you're not normal. Like, you're an athlete trying to embrace the thick life is what I said. I was like, I just want to embrace the thick life and do it, like, eat whatever I want, make those, like, dirty gains. Who cares? He's like, no, like, that sounds a lot like you're trying to make an excuse to not be an athlete for a time period. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And that just like really hit home, because I'm like, you're right, like I am an athlete, and athletes don't really take an off time, and there is no normal. This is normal, you know, so why not spend the whole year in prep and competing and stuff like that? Because, you know, this is what I do. This is me. So, yeah.
It must be really cool having that type of good support from your coach.
Yes. We've actually become like pretty good friends in this whole process. But seriously, this is my third coach and definitely by far the best one I've ever had, being 3, but best coach. He is literally always there anytime I need him. I text him and he'll text me back. He's a personal trainer too, so he does have a lot of clients, but he always makes time and makes sure that I'm good, which is freaking awesome because, as an athlete, as a competitor, especially if you're on prep, especially being a girl, you need that. And just not only him, but my mom and my sister are 2 huge support systems that I can lean on and be like, look, I'm going through it and I need you, and they will be right there. So it's really cool having that circle of people that really help push you and motivate you. And for my coach, he's not gonna let me fail. So that's awesome because there have been times where I just wanted to quit. When I figured out that my show was canceled, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't even want to compete anymore. I was super emotional, but he was like, no, because I was supposed to do WBFF. He was like, just do NPC. You're going to be great at it. I really believe that you can do it. And I was intimidated to do NPC because they like the harder, drier look, whereas WBFF likes a little softer, curvier. It's a little easier to prep for them, honestly. So I was intimidated. He's like, no, dude, you can do it. So he really motivated me to do that, and he motivated me to stay the course with this reverse diet, and yeah, pretty awesome.
Good for you guys.
Thanks.
Christmas is next week. Any big plans?
Yes, I'm excited. Love Christmas, love spending time with fam. If I'm not at the gym or at work, I'm usually at my mom's house or my sister's house. But we are spending the night at mom. Well, we're going to church. Christmas Eve, obviously, and then spending the night at mom's house, probably opening one present. We have this tradition where we open one present Christmas Eve, and it's usually pajamas, but it's cool. And then we sleep in those, wake up Christmas morning, open up the rest of the presents. My family always makes tamales, so I'm going to have 1 or 2 or 10, but and yeah, that's really just it. And we sometimes go over to my aunt's house. She lives in Fate, and my mom's side of the family, so I'm half Mexican, half Cajun. On my Mexican side, we get together and we just, a lot of times we haven't even seen each other since last Christmas, but we always we'll get together and the kids will be playing and we'll just be eating and chilling, and it's a really good time with family. So that's awesome. And I'm lucky I didn't get scheduled Christmas Eve at work. Thank you, work gods. But so yeah, I can just spend the whole day with my family, the whole day on Christmas with the fam. So that's exciting.
And Christmas Eve, the Cowboys play.
Yeah, so the game will definitely be on at the house. I already know. That's a given.
Chynna, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. It was great to be here.